Welcome to Rauta's non-metallic review. This one is actually more of an industrial style, dead industrial, black industrial, or something along those lines when we're talking about a band called the XII. And the album is called Rune and Ruin, the Odium Disciplina. This is actually released by Aesthetic Death, which is also a metal label, but then again also has ambient releases, industrial releases, and whatnot you have there. And this is actually one of those non-metallic releases, even though the main guy, well, the only guy in the band, is more or less related to metal music. He's actually the vocalist and the ambience guy in the band called Culted. And here it is how this nice looking digipack looks like. Looks actually pretty metallic. Everything from the symbolism here from 666 and the visual side in general, in my opinion, this is very metal looking release. But it's actually not that much metal, though there are kind of links to it. But without further ado, let's take a look on the Metal Archive site with this particular band. Not Metal Archive site, sorry, fooled ya. This is Bandcamp side of the album, which shows you the actual list, track list here, the minimal information, the release date for February 14th, and the guy behind the band, coming from Gothenburg, Sweden, and the minimal information and, well, obviously, the cover art. Now, like I said, this is kind of a combination of industrial parts, but not your rock and roll related industrial so much. It's not like, you know, Nine Inch Nails or Marilyn Manson or Rammstein, but more like the kind of dead industrial, like it was called back in the 90s already, or in this case, it seems the artist prefers the term black industrial. Nothing to do with black metal or black people as such, though. And with these industrial elements, it's kind of bonded to a dark ambient styles, which is in this case meaning those kind of ambient humming parts, the kind of random clicks and clocks, you know, all that kind of funny noises, which I, as well as many other people who are into dark ambient, actually like. Now, there's sometimes kind of a blurred line between, you know, certain type of industrial or noise or power electronics or whatever styles and ambient, and all these styles sometimes overlap quite a bit. But to be honest, this doesn't really have anything to do with power electronics or noise, because this is not noisy as such. It's more like having these whirring noises and all these clicks and hummings and whatnot, which then again kind of a blend in with the ambient parts being more like unmusical, if you will. So while industrial parts often have this kind of rhythm and more often spoken parts than so often rather instrumental ambient style, this is having kind of a best of both worlds, kind of overlapping once again. And as such, this is not following clear footsteps of neither of those genres, but kind of a both. You know, like 1 feet in the water and 1 feet on the ground. And for some people, it really does the magic and creating this kind of a diversity with the music. Whilst for some people, it's not really their cup of tea, because some people just want to have it industrial or the ambient style. And combining these two might not work for just everybody. Well, in my opinion, it is a rather nice release. It's not exactly totally my cup of tea, me not being so much into industrial in general, but these ambient parts are essentially quite nice to enjoy, because they create this really sinister, this kind of ominous feeling which is there to kind of haunt you, like in the middle of night you're having some weird cracks and all kind of sounds, and you're thinking like, okay, this place is haunted or something, or is it just my imagination going wild? Actually, living in the countryside, sometimes you hear these kind of old, weird sounds. Old sounds, not necessarily old sounds, but sounds in an old house, which you're not sure if it's just some wooden paneling going clickety click, or is it some wood outside just, you know, whipping the windows? And that kind of stuff would actually kind of a feature imagination in a kind of a cool way, is something that so many artists fail to capture. But luckily there are artists who actually manage to do that. And in so many ways the XII managed to do that in a nice way. But once again, being said, all that, these instrumental, not industrial parts rather, are not working in favor for me. So it's kind of like walking on this thin line where sometimes you fall in the wrong side of the fence, so to speak. And as such, this is kind of a tricky album, to be honest. But the overall feeling is that I think this is quite nice. It could be very... it could be better in the ways that it could go deeper in one of these elements. But then again, would it sound the unique way it's sounding right now? Probably not. So it's probably just intentional to keep both sides involved in ways. Anyway, hard to recommend this to pure metalheads, if you will. But then again, if you have soft spot for ambience and industrial stuff, be sure to check it out. It's an interesting release with really nice, sinister soundscape, and sometimes that is all you really need. Anyway, thank you for watching this review, and should you have any comments or questions, put them on the comments box below and I'll get back to you. Take care, be well.